Hello and welcome back to Late Age Piconye. It is late summer in the year 0 and we have a battle to watch. As you can see on our side, we have a lot more of these defenders, very wonderful troops, a lot of crossbows and a sparse line formation, some spearmen, and we're going to be switching over to claim life on our prophet here very soon. We'll go and fast forward. You'll see on the other side, they've got a very similar force to our own, heavy infantry, light infantry, and crossbows. And these first few volleys of crossbows are going to be targeting our defenders, which is who you want it to target. I will see if we can find one of them that's taken a shot here. You'll see some of them, it does poke through just because crossbows are very killy, but most of the time it's not going to do any damage. Like this one's already taken 2 of the crossbow shots and hasn't taken a single point of damage. They're supposed to do 10 plus the DRN, but it's 4 because it hit that tower shield first, and then even with the armor piercing, there's another 8 protection it has to get through, so the defenders here are going to take crossbow fire better than any of our other troops. That's why we have our crossbows on a sparse line formation entering this battle, and further back. And the front lines will meet here very soon. They aren't going to be able to get through our protection, they aren't going to be able to get past our defense. You'll see a lot of these troops that are routing now. Instead of being dead, most of them are just very injured. There's a lot of injuries across the entire front line of the enemy, and that's because we mostly just deal chip damage. We aren't going to be really hitting very hard, but we will be able to, if this battle went on any longer, the deaths of the enemy would have increased exponentially, and you'd really just need them to rout for these indie provinces. So we'll keep going here. A very cut and dry win. We didn't take very many losses. All we're waiting is for the crossbows to run back, but their entire front line has collapsed. And I think we even get this, yeah, a bunch of crossbow shots get that priest there. So yeah, very few losses, only 9 losses, 4 defenders, 5 of our spearmen. The spearmen, it was part of our starting force, so they're pretty much free losses. And against 60 troops, it's a very clean expansion. If we can get this sort of very minimal loss expansion, this party will last for a long time. And we've got 2 unexpected events. First, a local slave lord is seeking absolution, so these blood saves are going to be put to very good use pretty soon. And some free nature gems. Yeah, we got it from the droppings of a magical beast, but you know, it's free. And let's see what greets us on our turn. We'll see, this is the province we just took. We're going to go ahead and bump up the PD while I'm thinking about it. Head Raccoon's just going to continue down to this heavy cavalry province. You'll see there's 50 units here. It's probably around 50. One of our scout was there, it said it was at 40, so 40 or 50 is pretty accurate. If you didn't know, these scout reports can be off by around 50%, so there could be as many as twice the number shown or as few as 2/3 of the number shown. Because it was 40 or 50 and it's 2 separate showings, it's probably pretty accurate to be around 40 or 50. We are going to go ahead and meet him with the bird knights that we recruited last time. This is another good use for these bird knights, is during expansion, if you know you're going to take a harder province, you can just, the turn before, recruit one of these bird knight commanders and a bunch of bird knights and jump them in to join that party. We're going to script them with hold and attack enemy cavalry. Normally you want them on hold and attack rear to maybe snipe a commander, but because this is only the heavy infantry and heavy cav for this particular indie type, what you really like is for you to isolate the indie commander or maybe get them in the middle of a bunch of archers. But there are no archers, there are no crossbows, so the indie commanders are going to bury themselves right in the back line of those heavy infantry, and then your birds are just going to fight the heavy infantry. They're not going to kill the commander for you. But if we have them on hold and attack cavalry, they'll be able to jump in at the same time that our defenders and our Piconye spearmen are jumping into the heavy cav, and hopefully we can get a nice round and isolate and then kill them before the heavy infantry come in, and then we can fight them one-on-one without having to worry about these heavy cav. We'll go ahead and have these guys on the spearmen here. We're going to go and have them set to attack closest instead of hold and attack, because the cavalry will get here a lot sooner than the typical infantry that we'll be fighting. We don't need these folks, these crossbows in sparse line anymore, because they're not going to be taking any sort of ranged fire from this indie type. Something you do need to look out for, especially on these heavy cav provinces, is that you don't have a very spread out front line. Since you're very tightly packed, a lot of times these heavy cav will run around the sides and end up hitting your crossbows in the back, so having them on sparse line just makes them even juicier target, a lot more surface area. So we're going to just try to space our front line just enough to hopefully catch this heavy cav without them getting past and killing our crossbows. Our Bird Knight commander, can just sit here with our prophet, be on hold and attack. No, not stay behind troops. And then we've got these lance catchers that can just be on attack enemy cavalry. And we'll just put them at the front here. Hopefully they'll run in, take a few of the lance charges. I can put them on sparse line formation, but there's only 5 of them, so they'll all end up in the same tile anyway. It'll just decrease their morale to have them in sparse line. And that's good for that. Recruitment, we don't need another Bird Knight commander. We'll keep the Piconye Sage Priest, and we're just gonna get a whole bunch of these defenders here. After he drops off the Bird Knights for this expansion force, we're gonna just move him back to the capital. He'll get the recruitment from this turn and the next turn, and then we can take another one of our cap circles and have a new expansion party running around. Looks like we have enough resources to get a crossbow as well. We don't have enough gold to build a temple. Something we could do is drop this Sage Priest and get a regular Sage, and then we'll be able to build a temple here in the forest. But if we build a temple this turn, then we probably won't have enough gold to build a lab the turn after, so it's better just to use this guy to search, and then build a temple next turn, and a lab the turn after that one. So we'll search for magic sites. With the temple and a lab, we'll start getting Sage Priests out pretty soon. And let's look at our scout. Our scout did wonderful work this turn. Only heavy infantry, militia, and archers, but the real things that it's shown us is we have a province taken by man, which revealed man's cap right here. So we know that man is going to be our neighbor to the left here. There's a really nice mountain range that'll make it very choke pointy. If we can take Quinnin before they can, then we can probably fort it up and just ignore man until a little bit later in the game. I would jump our Bird Knight straight onto the capital just to see exactly what he's recruiting and maybe how his cap circle expansion is going. But with Dominion 6, a lot of times if the AI doesn't have exactly what it needs to take some of its indie provinces around it, it'll just patrol its capital, and I've lost many a scout that way. It also shows off Utgard here to the north. Again, not going to jump on Utgard's cap, but Utgard will be to the north. It's a little bit more open of a border. We have a slight choke point in this mountain, but it looks like it'll be a very natural expansion for us because we want these farmlands, so we'll probably go ahead and eat Utgard before we fight anyone else. Hopefully we can ignore man. I would like to move my scout to discover the Fog of War here to the right, figure out who our rightmost neighbor is. I could take it from back here and start eating away the Fog of War. I can't quite reach the rightmost Fog of War here. We're just going to use our scout here to ping this throne. If you click Control and then the move click on your mouse, it'll do an attack instead of a sneak for a scout. And we can just set this guy. If you click Y, it'll show you who's moving to the province you have selected. We'll just have him set to retreat. He can really be anywhere on the map. We'll move him further back just so he doesn't get a stray archer shot. He's just going to fly away round 1. The reason we want to ping this is in case, if it is just light infantry, crossbow, and heavy infantry, we can really take it at any time. But if there's a lot of wizards, a lot of mages, then they could do an elemental spam, and we'll end up throwing away a lot of our troops, which, we just want to know that it's there beforehand. And after he retreats, he'll probably end up in one of these 3 provinces, and then we can just fly him over here and start uncovering the Fog of War next turn. So we've got a good fight right here. We've got a ping here, and we've got a little bit of infrastructure getting started next turn. We'll go ahead and end the turn there. It is early fall in the year 0. It looks like we did get our research target. Now we have Alteration 2. Our site searching, there weren't any other sites there, but I'm pretty sure that province already has the Great Iron Mine, so what more could I really ask for? And let's see our battle against this heavy cav. Looks like we did get a good roll on the heavy cav. There's a decent number, so we'll get to see a good fight. Looks like they might just barely miss these militia and run by it, but they might turn around. Luckily our crossbows are also targeting it, which is what you want to see. And these militia, they should be walking around to fight the cavalry. That's what they're on there and attack. What are the Bird Knights doing? I'll have to play it back. I'm pretty sure both the militia and Bird Knights were on hold and attack cavalry. My goodness. This is one way to defeat in detail. These Bird Knights should hold their own, but our defenders here are just face tanking this heavy cav. My goodness. I swear, you might as well just not even script at this point. That's fine. Our crossbows, our defenders, they'll be able to take out these heavy cav pretty easily. We've got good protection, good defense, so we aren't too worried about taking too many losses. But my goodness, what on earth? Maybe they targeted one of these mounted commanders here. I was hoping they would target, you know, the 15 or so cavalry units that were rushing the front line. But you can't win them all. Can't win them all. Still, it seems like a very good win. This should be a good province. We'll look at it after we check the messages here. And look at that, just tanking, taking all the friendly fire on these defenders and the entire heavy cav just straight to the face. Our defenders are just going strong. They're a wonderful unit. All right, let's see. Let's see this clusterfuck here. Okay, lost 31 troops. That's really actually not that bad. 7 to the spearmen. You know, we're trying to kill these guys off so we don't have to meet them with our defenders while scripting. Militia didn't even run in to catch lances, but they all died. Defenders only 9 losses, and you know, like I said, they were taking all of the friendly fire from the archers from our crossbows, and they were also the ones who took the lance charge. They stood in line with these heavy cav. They've got high protection, so you can't really hit very hard on this nation. So our crossbows were the ones getting the kills, but still crazy. Face tanking the heavy cav charge and taking the crossbow fire, and they only lost 9. Amazing. We did lose quite a few of our bird knights, but that's really not too big of a deal. They held up the heavy infantry long enough that we could kill the heavy cav, which is all we really wanted out of these bird knights here. Range of shadow. Here's the ping. It looks like there's no mages. We'll get a look at their scripting. Ideally, this guy follows his orders and retreats, but you never know. So yeah, a very easy province, just like our cap circle. We did get a few hard provinces on our cap circle, so it'll be just as easy to take this one out as we've taken out the other ones. Let's see, unexpected event. 5 fire gems. You know, for taking misfortune 2, we also have not been punished in any way. Beautiful. So yeah, this province, it's a good 20,000 population, almost 200 income, and it has a little bit of unrest, and it's still almost 200 income. Let's pump up the PD here. It looks like maybe in a turn or two we'll recruit the scout here and build a fort just to protect this province. It is a good one. Now what to do? Our forces here. It looks like we got a bit of a retreat detail. 8 of them dispersed, and only 3 of them made it back. That's fine. Only cowards run. And we've got what is this? A mixed bag of retreats. Maybe when we're walking around site surgeon we can pick them back up. I think what we'll do here, we'll go and move our head raccoon up to this province. He still has another 40 troops. He could probably take out one of these provinces next to it. I can really only get to this one at Boggerton because there's a river blocking them from this farmland and this other plains. So we'll just move them up here, and we'll go and take the defenders we recruited last time. We'll go and take them on one of our priests here. Our sage priests. The fire ones have extra leadership, so they're usually good for ferrying troops around. We'll give them these two random guys as just I will just give them the militia as a guard commander, and we could move them up here to meet up with our main force. For scripting, we did get Alt 2 this turn, so we can do a lot of the cheat fate. We can probably just fill it up and then use the last one for Stone Skin so he doesn't get shot by a crossbow and die. Then just cast spells. We'll put them here. We don't have any spearmen, so we can just have our defenders on hold and attack and keep them in the back. Because they have such slow combat speed, you know, they have 2 combat speed, they'll be within range of our mage here for a long time, which is why you can script all the way up to like the 4th or 5th slot with Cheat Fate and Body Ethereal, and you'll still hit troops. So that'll be good. These guys can still be on sparse line. We're gonna go back to a crossbow province. I'm a little bit hesitant to keep them too close to the mage here, because then they'll end up doing cheat fate on our crossbows, which we really just want cheat fate on our defenders for this frontline fight. So with cheat fate, with good protection, good defense, they're not really gonna die to these militia here. So this will be good. Hopefully that goes a little bit better and they actually follow orders. Still not too bad. We're gonna go and build this temple here for recruitment. Yeah, we can get a bunch of crossbows, and I think what we're gonna plan to do is take our Bird Knight commander. It's a decent leader, so it can move normal expansion forces. You don't need to keep them with Bird Knights. After they take this province, we're going to go back up, finish up our cap circle with this farmland, and we're just going to reinforce with a lot of these crossbows here. And we are looking at Utgard as our next target. We actually trade pretty well with giants, so the only thing we're scared of is the Saquods that they have. I think we'll go ahead and start recruiting our Baculites now, just however many we can get this turn. And there you have it. That's good recruitment. We've got a Sage and a Sage Priest. I want the Sage Priest this turn and then the Sage next turn. It was flipped there. A lot of times you need to check that because if you can get a Sage Priest the turn before you get the Sage, it's just better for your research overall. And that should be good. We've got recruitment. We've got a new battle. For the scripting here, again, just attack closes with Cheat Fate on these guys, claim life on our Prophet, and our crossbows should be able to shoot their crossbows. And yeah, our scout did live. That's wonderful. He followed orders and made it out of that alive. We would like to discover to the right here. We've got Tianchi. You can see on the name here, we've got Tianchi's cap right here, so they'll be our rightmost neighbor, which means that we know all of our neighbors. To the right, this whole choke point between the oceans is going to be Tianchi. To the north is Utgard, which we can hopefully eat soon. We don't know where Vedingheim is. I'm assuming it's probably north of Man here. Probably, somewhere tucked away. It could also be in the middle of this fog of war. So we're just going to start discovering a little bit more of the fog of war here with our scout, and just trying to see if we can't pinpoint where Vedingheim might have gone. I'd say let's go ahead and go up to this plains. If Vedingheim is tucked in the middle of this fog of war, this will start chipping away at it, and it'll give us a little more information on our target Utgard. So yeah, that's all we need for this turn. We've got another fight that'll go a lot better because it's just defenders. We don't have to worry about militia, Bird Knight, or Spearman. And let's go ahead and send the turn. It is now fall in year 0. We've got this battle here. You remember it's just our defenders and crossbowmen, so it should be an easy win. Very similar to everything else we've taken so far in expansion, just crossbows, militia, and heavy infantry. Quite a lot of crossbows, actually. Yeah, we'll see. Cheat Fate should be going off. It looks like Cheat Fate is hitting our crossbows. We scripted them just a little bit too close. Fast forward, but usually spells, they tend to target the high hit point tiles, and the defenders should have higher hit points, so I don't know why. Maybe Cheat Fate targets lower hit points, but it can be fixed just by moving the mage just a little bit further forward. Cheat Fate doesn't have a large range. Yeah, we've collapsed their front line. Yeah, crossbows are going to pick apart theirs, and there we go. Very easy victory, very clean victory. Yeah, you'll see almost 100 troops, 42 crossbowmen, not something you like to see in your cap circle, and we only took 7 losses, so it was a very, very good fight. And let's see, the Haunted Woods. I think this is the province we wanted to... Yeah, this is the province we wanted to build our lab. It looks like lab gained at 10 extra nature gems. Crazy. We took Misfortune too, and I'm not a fan of the saying that Misfortune is a free scale, but I'm starting to believe. We have not been punished at all. In fact, we've been rewarded. An extra mage turn. We were going to use this guy to build a lab, and an extra 600 gold. So now we'll spend this guy site searching. We'll move him up here to Helmshire. Yeah, we've got this crossbow stack with some Baculites that we're gonna send up here, and then we've also got we're just gonna go ahead and move all of our defenders and our militia bodyguard onto Head Raccoon, and we'll get a good fight up here. Finish up our cap circle. All we're waiting for is the throne, which we can take in just a turn or two. So yeah, wonderful. We're actually getting that critical mass of crossbows that you like to see in your expansion forces. So just every volley is going to have devastating effect. You'll end up getting quite a few routes. We're going to move our defenders up. We're also going to move our mages just a little bit further forward. Our Baculites we can actually put on this flank a little bit further back because they do have faster map move. So just hold an attack closest. They'll end up on a flank and they'll start deleting tiles as they work their way down the line. Yeah, we've got to script this. This is our nature random, so they've actually got personal bark skin. They'll have bark skin at level 3 alteration, and they'll be able to put that on our sacreds, put that on our defenders, and just bump their protection to the moon. But for now, just some gift of cheated fate. They're going to switch over to personal stone skin for the last slot so they don't get shot and die. So beautiful, and this should be a good script, should be just as clean of a victory. Let's see. We've got this fellow over here. We actually saved a lot of money, so we can probably go ahead and start getting a temple and a lab built in this province too, thanks to that lucky event. For recruitment, we've only got 500 gold left, so we're gonna go ahead and get another Piconye Sage, more of these Baculites, and we're gonna just max out, get a bunch of these crossbowmen here. You'll see we're getting recruitment point limited more than resources now, which you know, we're order 3, so there's not much else we can really do in our build to get more recruitment points. Once we cast Blood Fecundity, it'll just gradually rise, which will let us get even more troops. This is a lot of troops. Let's see, our scout. Looks like our scout did discover Ohm, which is another one of the neighbors I was curious about. It's going to be our top left neighbor. It looks like they're actually having pretty good expansion. We don't even know where their capital is, so we're just going to move up to God's Tomb Mountains, uncover some more of this Fog of War. Looks like Utgard is actually having a fairly decent run of expansion. They've got the Rule of Green as well, so they're finishing up their cap circle. And that's about all we need for this. We're going to have a big fight here, and it looks like for research, yeah, in just a turn or two, we're going to have Alt 3, and in the next video, you'll be able to see me run around with some more of these Piconye Sage Priests and see the cool things that they can do.